Imagine waking up one morning to discover that your life's entire public identity has been stripped away. Titles, privileges, and decades of association with one of the most famous families in the world suddenly erased. That's exactly the reality facing Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew, as shocking palace announcements confirm the end of their royal ties. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. If you've been following the saga of the Duke and Duchess of York, today's news is the latest and perhaps most dramatic chapter yet. But beyond the headlines lies a tangled web of personal decisions, royal protocol, and political maneuvering that you won't hear anywhere else. So buckle up. We're about to unravel the real story behind Ferguson and Andrew's fall from royal grace. The official statement came just minutes ago. Prince Andrew has been stripped of his remaining royal titles by King Charles, and as a result, Sarah Ferguson has lost her Duchess of York title and reverted to her maiden name. Why does this matter? After decades in the public eye, Ferguson's identity has been intertwined with the royal brand. She became the Duchess of York when she married Prince Andrew in 1986, a title that shaped her life, her media presence, and her social standing. Now, she is simply Sarah Ferguson once again. A private citizen in the eyes of the monarchy. The eviction from the royal lodge adds another layer of drama. For years, the couple maintained their residence within royal property, blending family life with royal duties. Their departure signals more than a change of address. It marks the finality of a separation from royal privilege that has defined much of their adult lives. But the palace announcement raises questions. Is this simply the result of Andrew's legal and public scandals? Or are there deeper, more strategic motives at play within the royal household? To understand Ferguson's predicament, we need to rewind a bit. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, once a celebrated figure in the royal family, became embroiled in decades of public controversy. From allegations connected to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal to accusations of poor judgment and personal misconduct, Andrew's reputation has been steadily eroding. In 2022, the court of public opinion turned decisively against him, culminating in legal battles that further exposed the former prince to media scrutiny. King Charles III, now responsible for the reputation and stability of the monarchy, took decisive action. Andrew would no longer carry royal duties or hold titles that convey authority and honor. Because Sarah Ferguson's title as Duchess of York was entirely derived from her marriage to Andrew, her status was inevitably impacted. The ripple effect was swift. Her royal privileges, public recognition, and ceremonial presence within royal circles were revoked. Yet the story isn't simply about lost titles. It's about identity, power, and perception. Ferguson, once celebrated for her charm and relatability within the royal family, now faces the challenge of redefining herself without the protective shield of a royal title. Royal decisions are rarely made in a vacuum. There are protocol considerations, media calculations, and public image strategies that influence every move. In this case, several motives might explain the palace's actions. Protecting the monarchy relies on public trust. Andrew's scandals threatened to overshadow the royal brand. By stripping his titles, King Charles may be aiming to safeguard the institution from ongoing negative associations, maintaining family cohesion. Distancing Ferguson and Andrew from royal duties allows King Charles to redefine the hierarchy and focus on active members like William and Kate, who represent the future of the monarchy. Setting a precedent, royal titles are symbolic. By revoking Andrew's and Ferguson's status, the palace signals that privilege is contingent on conduct, not merely birthright or marriage. These factors hint at a deliberate, strategic approach rather than a purely reactive measure. Every action communicates a message to the public, the media, and other members of the family. Sarah Ferguson's public persona has always been a roller coaster. From her fairy tale wedding to Prince Andrew in 1986, she was adored for her warmth, humor, and relatable demeanor. The tabloids dubbed her Fergie, portraying her as the fun-loving, approachable duchess who could joke and laugh in ways that seemed refreshingly human amidst the monarchy's rigid formality. But Ferguson's life has also been punctuated by scandal. Financial controversies, questionable business dealings, and high-profile personal mishaps, including the infamous 1992 toe-sucking photos, created a narrative of recklessness and opportunism. These missteps, combined with Andrew's own controversies, compounded her negative public image. Even so, Ferguson maintained a loyal following among certain audiences who admired her resilience, humor, and ability to survive intense media scrutiny. Titles may be lost, but the story of Fergie's life, both glamorous and controversial, remains unforgettable. For many, the loss of a title might seem symbolic, but in reality, it reshapes day-to-day life. Ferguson now must navigate a world where the privileges of royal association no longer exist. Invitations to high-profile events, access to exclusive circles, and ceremonial recognition all disappear. Even personal identity is challenged. Decades of being known publicly as Duchess of York now reset to simply Sarah Ferguson. There is also the psychological impact. Public perception has always been a double-edged sword for Ferguson. She was adored, criticized, and scrutinized simultaneously. Losing her title amplifies vulnerability, both emotionally and socially. It forces introspection. Who is Sarah Ferguson without Andrew, without royal backing, and without ceremonial recognition? But human beings are resilient. Ferguson has repeatedly reinvented herself in the face of adversity. Could this new chapter be an opportunity for reinvention? That's the question everyone is asking. The moment the palace released the news, the media landscape exploded. Headlines ranged from sensational to sympathetic, with tabloids predicting scandal, financial fallout, and personal humiliation. Social media users dissected every detail, speculated about future moves, and debated the fairness of the decision. Some outlets framed Ferguson as a victim of circumstance, emphasizing her decades-long loyalty and service to the royal family. Others focused on her controversial past, portraying the revocation as inevitable. Regardless of angle, the media frenzy underscores one fact: public figures, especially royals, cannot escape the long shadow of their history. What this means for Prince Andrew. While Ferguson's loss of title grabs headlines, the ultimate focus remains on Prince Andrew. Without titles, royal duties, or ceremonial recognition, his public role is effectively terminated. His financial and legal entanglements further complicate prospects for public rehabilitation. Analysts suggest that Andrew's removal is also symbolic. It demonstrates that royal privilege is not unconditional. Titles can be stripped, status can be revoked, and history will remember not just deeds but consequences. Ferguson's fate is entwined with Andrew's. A shared story of rise, scandal, and now, removal. There's a lot to unpack beyond the gossip and tabloid frenzy. Ferguson and Andrew's situation teaches broader lessons. Actions have long-term consequences. Decisions, associations, and personal conduct can ripple across decades. Reputation isn't just built. It's maintained through consistent choices. Titles are fragile. Power and prestige may feel permanent, but the monarchy shows us that privileges are conditional. Resilience matters. Ferguson's public life demonstrates that reinvention is possible. Losing a title may close one door, but can open others. Perception versus reality. The story we see in headlines may be simplified or sensationalized. Behind the palace gates, strategy, protocol, and relationships drive decisions far more than public opinion alone. So what's next for Sarah Ferguson? She has several paths. Reinvention, leveraging her fame for philanthropy, media ventures, or public appearances. Ferguson has done it before. Could she turn this into another comeback story? Privacy, retreating from public life and focusing on family and personal projects. A quieter life could offer the peace and autonomy she's lacked for decades. Advocacy, using her experience to champion causes, charities, or social initiatives. Her platform, even without the title, remains influential. Each path has challenges and opportunities. Ferguson must balance public interest, personal ambition, and her evolving identity in a world that has watched every step of her life for decades. The palace's announcement is more than a headline. It's a turning point. For Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew, it marks the end of an era defined by titles, privileges, and public fascination. But endings often breed new beginnings. Sarah Ferguson now faces the ultimate test. Redefining herself without the royal shield, navigating public scrutiny without ceremonial authority, and deciding what legacy she wants to leave behind. For readers, her story is a reminder of the impermanence of status, the importance of personal choices, and the resilience required to endure public life. What do you think about Ferguson and Andrew's royal exile? Is this a fair outcome or the result of centuries-old royal politics? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to follow for more updates on royal news, scandals, and untold stories.